Robin Niblett is a distinguished fellow and a former director at Chatham House. He joins us now from Spain. Good to see you. I do want to go first to the optics, which were nothing short of extraordinary, as Ivan just showed us there. What purpose do they serve for these three leaders? I mean, we saw them perhaps in a way of almost intimacy, I would say. That is not something we've seen before.
Well, it's a remarkable opportunity, Paula. They can't quite believe it, I don't think, President Xi or Vladimir Putin, that they could have been given on a platter an opportunity at this very important year, the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, 80th anniversary of the creation of a kind of US-led world order. Instead, that anniversary has turned into a nightmare for those who have benefited from that order. The United States is in conflict with its allies. It's falling out with some of its partners in the so-called global south, like India. And in a way, it's given an opportunity to Russia and China to say, actually, that war that was won 80 years ago, we won it. And the order for the future, we're the people who are more committed to it. So I think they're absolutely grabbing the opportunity and using it to the max.
Yeah, quite a bit of revisionist history as well going on in terms of the role of post-Cold War order. I do want to ask you this question, though, and I'm not being facetious. How much do you believe the Trump administration is actually paying attention? And more pointedly, how much do you believe they need to pay attention? And I think they're two very different questions, right?
No, that's a very good set of distinctions. They're probably not paying attention for the reason that they don't need to pay attention, in the sense that, certainly in my view, this is a meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's 10 countries, mostly Central Asian countries, plus Russia, plus China, obviously, with the original hosting organization, plus Pakistan and India. Are we thinking of those countries as allies? I don't think so. They just had a hot war recently, or a hot conflict, which led to deaths on both sides. You've got a bunch of visiting dialogue partners who are not members. Iran is a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but you've got Saudi Arabia, UAE, Gulf countries who deeply distrust Iran as guests. So a lot of this is theater. It's a group of countries that really don't get on with each other. I'm not sure that China and India get on with each other deeply. And we know that Russia and China suspect each other also very deeply. But it's an axis of convenience that's really focused, in many cases, more their domestic audiences, more than about a grand new world order.
It is a very important point that it is expedient, and as you said, expedient mostly for the domestic audiences that they want to get the message across to. But then if the White House isn't paying attention or doesn't need to, then I want to get to the question you asked back in January: can America's allies save America's alliances? You know, in this grand tableau we've now been offered, and still more to come with the military parade in China, we're headed for another UN General Assembly here in New York. Go back to that original question that you posed in January. What is happening to the American alliances?
Yeah, I was obviously trying to think about this an article of Foreign Affairs back at the beginning of the year before the inauguration. And one of my hopes, in a way, and I think it is being borne out so far, is that American allies, whether they be those in NATO in Europe, or it could be South Korea, Japan, Australia, those in the Pacific area, they're having to buy time. They need to get through this. They know there's probably no going back to exactly the world as it was pre-Trump 2.0, but they need to buy time because they're not ready yet to be able to step up and play a much more concerted and valuable role, taking more of the burden of democratic societies in a world that seems to be dominated right now by autocrats. So what they're trying to do is buy time, hang together, don't allow Trump to drive them apart, don't allow the Trump administration to turn the transatlantic alliance or the Pacific alliances into dead ends. Keep things quiet, see if they can get through the 3 years, and in the meantime, not be distracted by the kind of theater that Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping are putting on, knowing, like I think the Trump administration does, that deeply, in the end, it's not important.
Robin Niblett, we will see if they take your counsel, because as I said, extraordinary pictures and more to come from that summit in Asia. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.